So you just found out she's having an affair. Right now, you're feeling that rage burning through your chest, that betrayal. Maybe you want to confront her, make her feel what you're feeling, get back at her for destroying everything you built. But before you do anything, stop. I've worked with hundreds of men in this exact moment, and I've seen them make 3 mistakes that destroy any chance they have, not just of saving the marriage, but of saving themselves. I'm Noah Allen, the creator of The Heroic Husband, and today I'm showing you the 3 patterns that keep men trapped, and more importantly, what to do instead so you don't waste this pain. So let's get into it. When you discover the affair, your brain goes into survival mode, and most men fall into 3 reactive patterns. I call them reactive patterns because they're all emotional reactions, no leadership responses, and all 3 of them make the bleeding worse. Here they are. Pattern 1 is the explosion. This is when you let anger take over, you confront her, you guilt her, you blow up her phone, you demand answers, you make her the enemy, and look, I get it. But right now, you want to release that pressure in your chest. You want her to see what she's done. Here's the truth. When you explode, you prove to her that you're still unsafe, that she was right to pull away. Pattern 2 is the shutdown. This is when you go cold. You act like you don't care. You pretend the affair doesn't bother you. And some men do this because the pain is just too much, so they numb out. Others think they're being an alpha. That real men don't get hurt by women. That if you show emotion, you're weak. So they ice her out, they ghost her, act unbothered. But here's what's really happening. It's fear. Fear of feeling the full weight of what just happened. And she can see right through it. Pattern number 3 is negotiation. This is when you try to logic her way out. You try to make cases. You build arguments, reminding her of the kids, the years you've been together, everything you've sacrificed. You're trying to convince her rationally to stay, to see how illogical the affair is. But here's the problem. Affairs aren't logical, they're emotional. So when you try to negotiate with logic, you're proving you still don't understand what drove her away in the first place. Look, all 3 of these patterns do the same thing. They push her further away, and they keep you trapped in your own kryptonite. Here's why. Number 1 is these patterns don't release the pain, they multiply it. In The Man of Steel, we teach that you are your own kryptonite, not her, not the affair, you. Because the way you respond to pain determines whether it forges you or breaks you. When you resist what's happening, when you fight reality, you're feeding the very thing that destroys you. It's like this. The more you tell yourself, I'm not angry, the angrier you get. The more you tell yourself, I don't need her, the more obsessed over whether she'll come back you get. The more you try to convince her with logic, the more you prove you don't understand her heart. And resistance creates suffering. Let me show you what I mean. I had a client, high-level guy, makes about over $75K a month, running his own firm. His wife had been emotionally checked out for months. Then he found out about the affair. His first move? He exploded. Sent her 50 texts in one night, demanded she end it, told her she was destroying the family. And when that didn't work, he went cold, stopped talking to her entirely, moved into the guest room and acted like she didn't exist. Still nothing. So then he tried logic, made spreadsheets, showed her everything that she'd lose in the divorce, remind her of their mission, their goals, their legacy. By the time he came to me, he was exhausted, defeated, and she was more distant than ever. You know what I told him? You've been reacting, not leading. And until you stop reacting, nothing changes. That's the trap most men fall into. When you explode, shut down, or negotiate, you're operating from the same frame that causes the affair in the first place. You're still making it about you, your pain, your anger, your need for her to stay. But leadership doesn't come from need, it comes from strength. And strength comes from accepting what is, not fighting it. Now, here's the second reason these patterns destroy you. They make you waste the pain. You've heard me say this before, and my clients say it all the time. Don't waste the pain. Here's what that means. Pain is a signal. Actually, you really should give voice to it. It's trying to show you where you failed to lead, where you lost the plot, where the bleeding points are in your marriage. But when you're too busy exploding or shutting down or negotiating, you miss the signal. Think about it like this. This moment right now, this affair, it's trying to teach you maybe 20 things about how to lead, how to show up, how to create safety, or how you didn't do any of those. But if your brain is consumed with rage or frozen in shutdown mode or scrambling to build a case, you'll only see 1 or 2 lessons, maybe none. And 5 years from now, you'll find yourself in the exact same place with a different woman. Same pattern. This is what we call emotional residue. Because you didn't learn what this pain was trying to teach you in the first place. Imagine you're building a house. The foundation cracks. You have 2 choices. You can panic, blame the ground, or try to patch it with duct tape and hope. Or you can stop, dig down, find the root cause, and rebuild the foundation properly. Most men choose duct tape, believe it or not, because digging hurts. But the men who dig, they're the ones who build something that lasts. And that's what you need to understand about this affair. It didn't happen because she's broken or because the other guy is better. I actually remind my clients this all the time. He's not better than you. He's not chosen over you. It happened because somewhere along the way, you stopped being her grounding rod. You stopped creating the safety that she needed. And instead of being the calm in her storm, you became part of the chaos. That's not blame, that's accountability. And accountability is power. Look, I know this is heavy. And if you're sitting here thinking, I need help with this, you're right. You don't have to figure this out alone. My team and I work with high-performing men every single day. Guys just like you, who refuse to let their marriage end without a real fight. We use the emotional layering protocol, a 3-stage system that rebuilds trust from the ground up. Healing, shifting, bonding. No guessing, no wasted time, just a clear roadmap to lead your marriage back from the edge. Book a call with my team, links below. We'll show you exactly how this works and how to apply it in your situation, even if she's already checked out. Now let me show you the third reason these patterns fail. They don't change her mind at all. Here's a question. If you spent the last 5 years, or 10 years, creating a relationship where she felt completely safe, deeply admired you, felt aligned with your vision, and felt that spark, and still felt that spark, would she have had the affair? I want you to really sit, maybe even pause this video, and be honest. Because no, she wouldn't. Because affairs don't happen when you're doing the work, the 3-stage work: emotional healing, emotional shifting, and emotional bonding. Affairs happen when you stop leading, when the foundation cracks, when you abandon the process. Now, some of you are thinking, well, she would have cheated anyways because she's disloyal, she has no morals, she's damaged. But think about what you're actually saying. You're saying that even if you created a 10 times better environment than anywhere else, she still would have thrown it away because she's that broken. But if that's true, then you're admitting you never created that environment in the first place. Because women who feel truly safe, truly seen, truly led, she doesn't leave. You see that trap? When you explode on her, you destroy safety. When you shut down, you destroy connection. When you negotiate with logic, you prove you still don't understand her heart. And all 3 of these patterns do one thing. They confirm what she already believes, that you haven't changed, that you're still the same man who lost her in the first place. Let me give you a picture of what leadership actually looks like. She's a ship in a storm, and you're supposed to be the lighthouse. The lighthouse doesn't chase the ship. It doesn't yell at the storm. It doesn't try to convince the waves to calm down. It stands steady, grounded, shining light through the darkness, and the ship finds its way home. Not because the lighthouse begged it, but because it was the only thing strong enough to trust. That's what you need to become. So here's the choice you have right now. You can keep reacting, exploding, shutting down, negotiating, or you can become the lighthouse, the grounding rod that she's been missing, the man who doesn't fear her storm because he knows how to absorb it and lead through it. So let me show you exactly how to do that. This is the emotional healing process. The first stage of the emotional layering protocol. Step 1, you have to drop the victim mindset. This is about radical acceptance, accepting that yes, the affair happened and there's nothing you can say right now to undo it. Her mind has made up months ago, maybe years ago, because the relationship has been bleeding for so long and you didn't see it. Or you saw it and didn't know how to stop it. You also have to accept that you played a part, not in her decision to cheat, that's on her, but in creating the environment where she felt unsafe enough to pull away. I always say, men build the house, women make it a home. But on a deeper level, what I'm saying is the masculine creates the environment for the feminine to come into and nest and settle. And her feminine expands to fit the environment that was created. And look, I know that's hard to hear, but this is where your power lives, not in blaming her, in owning your part. Step 2 is you have to unhook from the outcome. This is what we call unhooking. It doesn't mean that you stop caring. It means that you stop letting her emotional state control yours. You gain emotional sovereignty. You stop needing her validation to feel like a man. You stop orbiting her moods like a satellite. And you start becoming the sun, the center of gravity, the man who has his own mission, his own purpose, his own internal fire. When you unhook, you're free to lead, not from desperation, but from strength. Let me show you what that looks like. I had a client who couldn't sleep for weeks. Every time his wife came home late, he spiraled, checked her phone, asking where she'd been, needing to know if she was still seeing the other guy. When he learned to unhook, everything changed. He stopped asking. He started focusing on his own healing, his own mission, his own growth. And you know what happened? She started coming home earlier, asking him questions, wondering what had changed. Not because he chased, but because he stopped. Remember, the brain learns from difference, not just a little bit different, difference. That's what catches curiosity. That's the power of unhooking. Now, here's step 3. You have to build your MOS, man of steel mindset. This is your internal armor, not a bulletproof vest that wears down, but mindset that transforms pain into power. When she lashes out, you don't absorb it and let it rattle around inside of you. You ground it like a lightning rod. You take the energy, you let it pass through you into the earth. You don't explode, you don't shut down, you stay steady. That's masculine leadership. Step 4 is you master the excavation conversations. This is how you lead through the bleeding, not by avoiding it, but by going into it with calm curiosity. You ask open-ended questions. You listen without defending. You reflect back, which is what I call true active listening by taking it deeper. You reflect back what she's really saying, not what she's saying on the surface, but what's underneath, the bleeding points, the places where she lost trust, where she stopped feeling safe. For example, one of my clients sat down with his wife, and instead of demanding she end the affair, he said, "I know you're seeing someone else, and I want to understand why. What does he give you that I don't? What does he make you feel that I couldn't?" That's not weakness, that's leadership. Curiosity, it's strength. And it opened a door that had been closed for years. Now here's the final step. You have to work that 3-stage protocol. This is where you actually rebuild. Here's what that looks like. Stage 1 is the emotional healing. You heal your own wounds first. You build your Man of Steel mindset. You stop being your own kryptonite because you can't lead her if you're still broken inside. Stage 2 is emotional shifting. This is where you shift the relationship dynamic. You lead excavations. You find bleeding points, the core wounds driving her away, and show her through your actions that you've changed. Not your words, your actions. Stage 3 is the emotional bonding. This is where you rebuild connection, trust, intimacy, not through begging or chasing, but through consistent leadership over time. This is the long game, the foundation work, the stuff that actually changes everything. When you move through these 3 stages, healing yourself, shifting the dynamic, and bonding through action, you don't just become the man she married, you become 10 times better than any option she has. And at that point, it would be foolish of her not to come back. But here's the thing. By the time that you've done this work, you might not even want her back. You might decide to take your value elsewhere. That's okay, because the goal here isn't to save your marriage. The goal first is to save yourself, to become the heroic husband, the man who leads from strength, not from fear, with or without her. Obviously, we want to save the marriage, but there's a difference between needing that and wanting that. The need is neediness. It puts you into a feminine state. Wanting and aligning with your true masculine intention, that's different. And it doesn't matter if it's with or without her. So here's what happens next. You have a choice to make right now. Don't waste the pain. Don't explode. Don't shut down. Don't try to logic your way out. Instead, use this moment to become the man you were always meant to be. The man who doesn't fear the storm because he knows how to lead through it. If you're ready to rebuild, if you're ready to stop reacting and start leading, book a call with my team. We'll walk you through the emotional layering protocol, the 3-stage system, the healing, the shifting, and the bonding, so that you can rebuild trust, restore connection, and reclaim your family legacy. The link is below. This doesn't have to end the way it's heading. You just need the right plan and the courage to execute it. Let's get to work, and I'll see you in the next video.